I wish you were all here with me, here to see the lake. This is the lake that I skated at, and across the lake when I was the junior lifeguard. This is my favorite part of this whole city, of course. We are having such a wonderful time with the Happy Days musical. You know, I had to go home because my agent called, and I've got something coming up. So it's called A Major Crime. So I want you to watch for that. I think it's going to be on in August. Well, this has been such a moving experience for me. Never in my wildest dreams, even though I had big dreams, to have it come true like this is really something, and I can't thank Rosalie Truax and the Theatre Guild for putting it all together, and Pat Mulso from the museum. Everybody's worked so hard, but they seem to be happy. Nobody's fighting with anybody. It's just wonderful, and I'm so grateful for this wonderful experience. You? No.
I'm Shirley Anderson.
You don't look like an outstanding lawyer.
Donna was outside in the theater.
Oh, really? I do, but I'm just like really busy.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah. So were you kind to us? Oh, I didn't get yesterday's paper.
And get the national media that way.
Yeah, we'd have to take out half of them now. 1 or 3, 5, 7, you start getting their attention. Marion released that she's been a guy all these years.
Hey, now there you're talking.
Good.
Shoot. Are they singing graves?
I think so.
Don't you put that anywhere.
Oh, right. I mean,
Then we had to wait for the trees to grow. But that's all done now. And it's great. I like all that stuff. I like all that stuff.
So you can play bocce ball by the light of the mulberry trees. That sounds like a book.
And I get them to bring the food because I don't cook. And Paul was a great cook. So I don't, but I like to make all these worlds, you know. And the friends smarten up and bring the food.
Have you never liked to cook?
Well, my mother's Irish. Oh, the Irish.
potatoes.
I never liked oatmeal because I've always had lumps in it. I don't know, is that oatmeal? I mean, you know, that's like that. So I'm sure she was a fine cook. We'd have pot roasts and things. So even when I was raising my children, I was divorced, you know. And I would just tell them, well, eat something. What do you mean you're hungry? Eat something. Get some SpaghettiOs. Look at this, all kinds of things you can eat.
Open a can.
That's right. Well, I was whining hysterical.
You're two, can't you open a can?
So, Paul was Lebanese. He was born in this country, Christian Lebanese. Cook. Master cook. Love to
That's
cook.
nice.
In the morning he'd say, what do you want for dinner? I'd say, well,
Let me wake up.
so we'll wake up. And then if you went to the market with him, if I picked up an onion, you know, he would look at me and he would put that back into a different one, you know. But it's very particular about everything, very serious in the kitchen. So I would stay away and make doilies and things and, you know, all the stuff that I didn't want to do. And I wouldn't join a sorority because I didn't want to do this. I thought, I'm not going to be making doilies and, you know, have tea parties. It's a terrible thing. Now it's my favorite thing. I like it all a lot.
Come around.
My husband cooks too.
Does he?
Yeah, does all the cooking.
And does he do the marketing?
Yes.
Yeah.
He does the dishes. He has his own kitchen downstairs.
Oh, he does. Well, I did the dishes.
Kitchen always.
Well, does he have his own bedroom down there? Deal.
Sometimes, yeah.
Has to ask permission to go
And
upstairs.
how long have you been married?
41 years.
Oh, Christ.
And then meet in the hallway.
We meet in the hallway sometimes. Not anymore. Way too old. We just go by each other. Huh? Good for you.
Then afterwards say, what was that? Doesn't sound like Happy Day material.
Who else is married here?
I don't cook either.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
I don't cook either.
no.
No. Somebody says, "Oh, you're so funny." I said, "No, seriously, I don't cook." But
I cook. I love to cook. My husband does breakfast. No, and laundry.
He does.
I haven't done laundry for years.
I don't do laundry.
I kind of don't want my husband to do the laundry.
I love it.
He retired and started doing the laundry, and I'm like,
Once I get to go down to the river, I do it.
trained my brother Carl early on. He's been married 2 years. He does most of the cooking. And whatever works. And grilling.
What kind of things do you like to cook? You know what? I'm petrified of desserts.
"Oh, see, that's what I like to do. I like to bake."
And a lot of people do like,
Yeah.
I'm inhibited by desserts, but I've been kind of forcing myself to. Eileen Schmitz used to have Puffin Stuff downtown, and Eileen was there for like 20 years, and she made the most divine coconut cream pie. And I've been over to her house 9 times, and she doesn't have a recipe. So I had to go 9 times to begin to write it down to try and get it so that I could, and now I make a pretty mean coconut cream pie.
That's the way my mom always used to be. Because I'd call her and say, "Well, how do you do this?" "We just put in this." "Well, how much?" "Well, enough."
Dib it, dab it this, dab it that.
Now, is your husband in there doing the dishes?
Her husband is, yeah.
Is he doing the dishes? Your husband's in there doing the dishes?
Yeah, you know what? I told my daughter, marry a busboy. He is the best person you could marry. His mother was a cateress, and he went along and worked for. And you know when your mom is the person in charge and tells you, you go do it, and he's been doing it since he was 15.
Wow. So he was trained in.
Marry a busboy, absolutely, yeah.
Love it.
Yep. And he made a
He doesn't have an apron. Does he have an apron?
No, he doesn't have an apron. No. He does have them in the drawer. Full ones, you know. Yeah.
But let me guess.
It's a lovely
just
luncheon.
to eat.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to do one more thing as a group. And when I sent the invitations out, I asked people if they had a story to tell or a photo from something backstage or in the box office or something. And so we're going to ask people to tell their little story. And then I'll
Go for it. I dare you. You have some stories I can tell.
My husband writes or produces for the cartoon Kung Fu Panda. So they when they come home from work, they only take care of they just play with those babies and that's it. And they're very time consuming. And I'm so happy for her. Enjoying their kids.
Yeah, that's the
Because
best.
show business doesn't have much lasting. There's nothing there. It's gone. It's gone. And this way, they can do it without investing their whole heart and soul. They're very fortunate to have these jobs because it's tough business. In fact, Ellen says, "You hurt my feelings, Mother, because you're so amazed that I have this job." I said, well, because it's hard business, you know. And it's like, I say, oh, wow. But she wasn't much in school, you know. She was like a more mysterious kind of person. I can't believe it. But she's very honest. Can ring her like a bell, like this glass. So if you want her opinion, she's going to give it. It's amazing.
Sort of like you.
Well, I'm not very honest at all. I wouldn't trust me. Around the corner.
Well, I haven't known you very long.
I'm more like my son. Oh, what do you need? I'll be it. I'm a very adaptable organism. Yeah. I can sense in a minute what it is you need, and I'll be that for you. Because I'm a middle child.
Oh, the pleaser.
I'm a pleaser,
Yeah.
and I get the. In 2 minutes, I get the lay of the land.
Yeah.
But I got to be this
Yeah.
to get. So you, because I said to somebody, I said, I'm really selfish. In that, what do I need to do around here to get what I need? They're ultimately selfish, you know. They're selfish in a good way.
But you're also doing what you need to do to please
yes.
people.
Yes,
You're
I want
giving them
everyone.
what they want.
I treasure everybody. You know, like I want to know you because maybe I'm going to be you someday. You know, my children say, "Mother, you stare at people." I'm sorry. I'm checking you out. You know, maybe you could be this. Yeah, I could be this. Like there was a little girl when I was in the 3rd grade, and she had a little talking to her nose. You know, it was so cute. I just loved it. So then I did that. So then we were both sent to remedial speech class. I snapped right out. So I can't be around anybody that has a foreign accent because I have it.
So you're gonna go back to California and talk
Minnesota.
Oh, there.
But you don't have it. I had it when I was young. You know, I had real nice, you know.
Oh, there, yeah.
And I took some drama lessons in Minneapolis, and she said, "You can't speak like that." Well, that was too bad.
I'll tell you.
Because that's the way we all talk that way, you know.
My sister and I were in Malta.
We don't hear it anymore, do we?
Yeah, I don't hear it. You don't have it anymore.
My sister and I were in
Too much
Malta.
inbreeding.
And we were laying on the beach. And this man was going down the beach trying to sell parasailing. And he comes up to us and he goes, "You're English," which is how they say American. And we go, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh no, you're from Sweden." No.
No, we were very round old. No. So
we confused him.
Canadian.
Yeah.
That movie New in Town with Renee Zellweger,
That was a little
that was,
over the top.
yeah. Let's see, what did she say? Are you a scamper? No.
But Fargo was good.
Fargo was
See, that,
hysterical.
I loved that so much. I loved it so much. I laughed so hard that I didn't notice it was a murder thing. So it was the second time I thought, "Oh my God!" It was about that. Chopped him up in the chopper, the leaf chopper.
One night I was in the box office and it was just a hectic night, and we had people coming and going and seats going like crazy. And Karen Seminowski came up to the box office and she was just in a twit and she said, "We don't have a light person. We don't have a light person. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?" And I thought, well, I don't know. How can the box office know what to do about the lights? Well, June Edian says, "I know how to do it." Really? She had done it years ago and remembered how to do it. And so I said, "June, you have to go way up almost funny stares at Marion, I can handle it. And so she went up there, and she remember that day? And then the person that was going to do the light came along anyway, and then you calmly came back down, and she said, everything's under control.
Wow.
So she saved the day.
You know, it's like, no, you can't be coming late. And I think it was, we were doing church basement ladies. And 7 people came in and they wanted to be seated. Well, there were 7 chairs down like 5 rows from the back. And I'm like, oh, they're empty. Okay, go sit there. Well, then 7:40 or something like that, the people that own those seats came walking in. It's like, you gave away our seats? Like, and I was the stage manager, but there wasn't a house manager or something, I don't know. You gave away our seats? Oh, well, you were late. You know, just fill in. So they did. They were not happy with me. But what are you going to do? You know? Lots of people aren't happy with me.
You just want to send them in the corner.
I know. It's like, well, just,
Put your nose in the
you
corner.
were late. I wasn't. You
I was newly married and newly in town and a new English teacher, and there was this ad in the paper that said, whoever thinks it's fun to start a community theater, come to this meeting. And so I went, and John Campbell, the doctor in town, he started the meeting by saying, wouldn't it be fun to put on a play? And so you all know. I mean, here you are. You all know how much fun it is.
And we were rehearsing the end scene, and I hadn't looked at my lines yet. So I got to the end scene, and I was playing Eeyore, and they were trying to cheer me up, so they gave me a useful pot to put things in. And then Piglet gave me a broken balloon. But the balloon, well, it was red and limping. And my next line was, and it goes in and out, just like anything. Let's show them, Piglet. So it took us about 5 minutes to actually get back on track. And we got back on track, and we're all kind of giggling. Suddenly from behind me, the girl playing Christopher Robin goes, I get it now. It was another 10 minutes before we were able to.
They're still laughing. Years ago, I was working with, it was Honk, we did Honk. And I just thoroughly enjoyed working with these little kids, you know? And I was sitting downstairs thinking, you know what? Am I naughty that I'm enjoying working with these gifted, privileged, intelligent children? And when maybe I should be working with little kids from the trailer park that are not gifted and not, you know, not privileged? And then I thought to myself, no, these are our future leaders. These children, they need attention too. So I'm not guilty anymore.
Quite young, quite young. And I went to help with a ballet that was at the theater. Well, I've never done that. I suppose I was maybe 20 or something. And so it was ballerinas and ballet guys, whatever they are. You know, and their tights and whatever. And so I, you know, and the one guy, I was going to go into the dressing room, and the men's dressing room, and the guy just looked at me and he said, well, if you see something you haven't seen before, just get over and step.
Wait, what did she say at the end? What did you
I'd seen it before.
I was visiting.
Stocking, and she was Pippi, and she got the flu right before the play opened. So what do you do? So my husband took her to the doctor, and she was in the exam room, and the doctor said, well, we can give her some medication. And he said, you want oral or injection? And Tony goes, well, what works fastest? And the doctor said, injection. Tony goes, we'll take injection. The doctor goes out. Krista goes, what's injection? So she got injection, which she didn't want. But that night, then, we had a bucket on each side of the stage for Krista. Because what do? You didn't have a backup. So
We don't have it,
she learned what injection was.
Did she get through it and not
Yeah.
have to throw up?
She didn't use the bucket.
Uh-huh.
But we told her it was because of the injection.
I mean, look at
Make phone calls.
what we got was what we got, and it worked. I mean, they fit perfectly.
Well, you know what they say, the show must go on.
The thing that I think is so amazing about a community theater is that you pick out the plays a year ahead of time that you're going to do. And you have no clue as to who is going to fill those roles. And we never call people and say, would you be so-and-so? We just don't do that. We want to have it open to the whole community. And it always works. It always works. We get afterwards.
Please, please.
This time, we didn't have an Elvis. I asked everybody I saw, would you be Elvis? You know, I asked Brandon Krause, he would have been perfect, you know. I asked the guy at Home Federal Bank. Kevin LaFrance. I said, would you be like Elvis? And he goes, oh. So Matt was dropping Connor off one night. And I know Matt from church, and Matt is just the best guy in the world. I said, Matt, would you be Elvis? And he goes, okay.
He was wonderful.
And he's got the moves.
Wonderful.
Oh, yes.
He
really
got into it.
anything
Really?
for us. He's just wonderful. I love it.
Did you go last night?
Shops in my shop every day, and she asked me to ask you if you remember Miss Yates from 9th grade English.
I do remember Sybil Yates. Right.
Penny Jacobson is her name, but she
English class. She would say, who wants to memorize a monologue from Shakespeare? A pain in my stomach. Oh, terrible. And I did. And then I was sent from class to class. Is this a dagger that I see before me? So, oh no, and I was always forcing myself to do something that gave me such a pain.
Out of your comfort zone.
Oh gosh, yes. But I would, yeah.
Mom and I got the last tickets for Love Letters,
Oh.
and it was the year before my mom passed away. And I kept this in my scrapbook, and you were coming home, and so all of the downtown stores were encouraged to do something about Happy Days. So I wrote, "Welcome home, Mrs. C," in my window.
Oh, yes, you did. That was wonderful. I loved doing love letters with Paul because he was so handsome and beautiful voice, a wonderful actor. Changed the dynamic of that. I don't know how many times you've seen love letters, but he was such a perfect kind of guy that you wanted him to go straight into the Senate, you know. And I love being neurotic, and yeah, I love that. Paul and I did that a lot. We did it on shipboard a lot. Till finally some lady on the Crystal Symphony said, you know, if you and Paul do love letters one more time, we're going to jump off the side. She was about to find something else. We'll never be able to thank the whole town for this time. I won't be able to. And it's, you're also exceptional, and the fact that you can be organized and get along and get together. I don't think I could.
We do get along.
Belong
That's
to
true.
something. Wonderful. You know, it's just that, and you're also smart and talented, and it's just, and you are what I came from. I am you, and you are me, and it's all wonderful. And I have had a super duper life. Yeah, and I had a patch. You know, when I was 40, everything came apart. So I got from 40 to 50. Like disaster in my life. And I survived that. And I scratched everybody. We've all had a bad patch, I'm sure, somewhere. So I just thank you all for this beautiful house, this beautiful everything. Thank you. So
I turned it off.
That's okay.
And we don't have Marion yet.
okay.
She's right from here.
Jane and Kathy. Whoop.
It's a nice looking group.
Yes.
Let's see.
What does that mean? We're aging.
Okay, this is my.
My hair's gonna be out of style.
Okay, now, did anybody tell a nice joke?
Yes.
Absolutely still.
Does it have to be a nice joke?
Kathy, tell
No,
us about
I
your
want a
marriage.
funny joke.
The short one and the long one.
No flash.
Oh, come on now, smile. Oh.
You know, we're on for an attorney.
Marion, you're out. There we go.
I'm happy.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh,
Oh,
Boy, that's a nice one.
yeah, sure.
Do you have a boat? A boat. And hockey.
she isn't making fun of you, Don.
I was trying to make fun of her.
Give it up for Mariella. And Ooh, into the light. It's a video camera. You got to make a speech, Mr. Green.
This is Mr. Green. Yes. Yes, this is Jonathan Green.
A lot of people waiting for you. It's quite the scene back there.
Thank you.
We're supposed to dress in vintage, so I just went with diamonds.
I love it. Welcome to our your party. Honor, I hope you're having no one ever wrote anymore. But we did. We did. I have a copy of the book. Yes. It's a money, isn't it? And we don't have. We're not time. Needs to tape. Oh, never mind. I have
Are you trying to? She's trying to.
Stuff
She
happens.
didn't even know it was her mother.
I didn't even know.
Video.
I thought it was
Onto the
just
video.
your dog.
It's so noisy here.
I had to tell her. I'm your mother.
I think it's not only a wonderful opportunity to celebrate Marion Ross coming home to her own hometown, but it's given this community a great opportunity to work together and celebrate together and pull together. And a great promotion of all the culture and art, theater, the museum in Albert Lea, and it's wonderful for Albert Lea. I agree. You know, we all worried about the downtown being torn up and what that would mean, but actually it's made us all focus on it and draw together, and hopefully we will have an even stronger, more beautifully situated art community from one end of Broadway to the other.
That'll do it. I'll be able to walk.
Well, I'm impressed with the turnout. This is a lot of people here. The whole town is here. This is the Prairie Winds Coffee House, and they all want to come here. And if this was Turnbull's old tire store, Don Turnbull, I went to school with Don Turnbull. Really? The thing I remember most is the Broadway Theater and the Rivoli Theater. Going to the movies was a very, very big thing for me. Well, I'm impressed with the turnout. This is a lot of people here. The whole town is here. This is the Prairie Winds Coffee House, and they all want to come here. And if this was Turnbull's old tire store, Don Turnbull, I went to school with Don Turnbull. Really? The thing I remember most is the Broadway Theater and the Rivoli Theater. Going to the movies was a very, very big thing for me. You know.
I won't tell you, but there's another art group trying to restore the Rivoli now.
Are they?
They're going to go for non-profit in a year or two. But they become a splinter group of this art group, so
okay.
Big secret,
well,
right?
it was we had so little entertainment. But you know, at the high school, we had really good people come into the auditorium, and they always raved about the auditorium. They'd say, "Do you realize you have such a wonderful auditorium?" And we were so starved. This is pre-TV.
So coming into here to see this revitalized, it's pretty much just stripped out and some art comes in. It's cool, ain't it?
It is. I love the raw walls, and this just makes it so funky and fun. And all those 50s clothes are hanging up there, and those records. That's not so long ago, is it? Pretty long time ago. I'm thrilled to be here. It touches my heart. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
It's always a blur, I suppose, for you, isn't it?
It is kind of a blur. But can't wait to tell Gary Marshall how good the Happy Days musical is. You know, we all saw it in Milwaukee. And because the whole cast, but because it was our show, we didn't particularly love it because it was our show. You know, you're never like what anybody else does after you do it. But now last night I said, you know what? This is great. This is great from last night. And
I haven't seen the play, but when they keep
all the way through it. And Paul Williams wrote the words to all the songs. And this time I was listening to the words. I said, this is really well written. This is really good. And I love the kid who's playing the Fawn. And sometimes they cast a big strapping hunk of a guy as the Fonz, and that's not right.
No,
the Fonz has got to be this street kid, kind of vulnerable. Something wrong with him there.
Did you pass the word about what cool is from Arthur?
Well, that's when Henry Winkler called me yesterday, and I said, "What shall I tell the cast, Henry? The Fonz?" And he said, "Tell them he thinks that they should be really cool, really cool." Don't show any emotion. Just be cool.
Yes.
I'm thrilled to be.
I just haven't seen you for a while.
How are you, Mr. Mayor?
Good. How about you? Good to see you. Lovely as ever.
I think we're having.
Jeez.
We're having a pretty fabulous time.
Yeah, oh, that's going to be wonderful. Yeah.
You think my agent would let me? Now everybody's here.
I'm so excited to see it.
Yeah, sir, no doubt about that. You got
Everybody's
the
in the
community
mood,
in a
you know.
buzz, I'll tell you that.
I'm so glad. Well, you've got to thank Rosalie Truax. You've
Oh,
got to
I know,
thank
there's a lot of
Pat
people involved.
Also, you've got to thank how many people?
Yeah, those people are always involved. That's the thing.
But everybody's
Yes, it's been a
done
great.
something.
Well, last
been a
night
great
she
week.
came out on stage and the audience rose and clapped and greeted her at the show. Yeah, they love you.
I don't know how long I can hold up here.
Malcolm just came back. He was over there enjoying it. He said they really treated you well.
The things we thought she would enjoy being out on the lake, since that was something she really enjoyed as she was growing up here in Minnesota, in Albert Lea. And everyone that is here is a special guest of hers. She asked for a specific number of people to be here with us today, so I think everyone should feel very honored to be here as her guest, and we certainly are going to enjoy being with her. I'm going to let her just say hello to you, and after we get going a little ways, we'll have lunch, and there's no structure to our cruise today. We're just here to have fun and enjoy Marion.
I'm thrilled. And my sister, my darling Alicia, is here with me. And it's just wonderful. I know almost everybody, but I don't know you. I have to know everybody or I'm not happy. Bloom where you're planting.
And yours is grab life.
I say yes to life. I say yes to life. But bloom where you're planting. Wow. And that doesn't mean you have to stay there. You have to take that with you. And what it is you got out of this soil, make this bloom, and then you take that with you everywhere. And it's just, I'm grateful for my beginning, and I just appreciate all the work that's gone into this. It's just unbelievable. So we'll all have a good time. The musical is wonderful. And the museum is wonderful. Wait till you see it. So it's an extraordinary bunch of people. I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
And I have heard over and over again just about how magnanimous and endearing our sister and beloved Marion is. And just in the few moments that she spoke and reminding us that she has to know all of us, what a blessing. And on behalf of the Albert Lea and Freeborn County Chamber of Commerce, it's a real blessing to have you and to greet you and to, if you'd like to stay. Well, she wants to be in a picture with me. I want to be in the picture with her. Actually, I have a memento, and it's to represent the key to the city. And I guess it would be appropriate for us to simply declare that we believe, and many others know, that you are perhaps Albert Lea and Freeborn County most generous and caring and kind native child. And what a blessing to have. Bless you.
Way to get the keys to the city.
Now I have to tell my spouse Wendy where I'm going to be this weekend.
Wait a minute, and I'll give you my key.
Excuse me. Represent your wife's attorney.
On behalf of the Pelican.
You know much of the theater in the Twin Cities at all? There was a small theater in St. Paul called the St. Paul Opera Workshop, and I think his name was Max Metzger. And I just wonder if you had ever met him before. I was in a few productions with them.
Do you sing?
Yes, I do. I sang at St. Olaf, not in the choir, but I sang at St. Olaf and also at Duke University, where I went to graduate school. So yes, I do.
Do you sing here in the choir or something?
Not yet. I've been so busy working at State Farm. I took over an agency about 7 years ago. So I was a little bit longer in the tooth than most folks are when they do that. So I've been working.
You're so young.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. So I've just been working really hard at that. And actually, we were talking about a mutual. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Frankly, what you know of your family's heritage and how they came to be in Freeborn County in the Albert Lea area.
Well, my mother was Canadian, and my father was from South Dakota, because a lot of Scottish people.
I'm Scottish, by the way.
Oh, are you?
I knew why I loved you.
What's your last name?
My grandmother's maiden name was Stewart.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're from the Stewart clan. And I'm not sure Highland or Lowland, but we are from the Stewart clan.
Oh, that's great. So that's how my father went up to Canada after World War I in his uniform to get wheatland, you know. And my mother was probably the belle of this town. She told me she was the belle of the town, and I saw the town. Jesus, anybody could have been the belle of that town, I'll tell you. No big thing. Anyway, so my father and my mother wanted to come to the States. Guess where you come? But my father did buy some wheat land up there, and so that gave them an excuse to always go back to Canada. And I attribute a great deal of my drive to my Canadian mother, because she always said you can be anybody and get somewhere and be somebody. So it was always talked to that way. And I would talk to other people and say, didn't you hear that kind of thing when you were growing up? They'd say, no. Oh, I thought everybody did. Yeah, you had to go and be. Yeah.
So how long had your mother's family been in Canada?
They got free land after the Crimean War, whatever war that was. And they came from Ireland, poor Irish. They were starving to death, you know, and they were given land to farm, and they really weren't very good farmers in the first place. And they kept my mother's Hamilton people.
They Scots as well, then.
But Irish too.
Yes.
More and men English.
Yeah.
So they kept moving west, and I think the men mostly wanted to just keep moving. They would say, "You stay here with all the babies and things, and we're going to go find more land." You know, so the men would go off. And
how about your dad's family in South Dakota? How did they end up there?
My grandfather, Alexander Duncan Ross, and I came from Tain, Scotland, way up in the north by Inverness. And he had, as a young boy, learned to be an apprentice to the clock make, you know, the watches and clocks, and would go and set the clock in this big mansion, this big castle. And when they would see signs, billboards, come to America, work for everybody. And like a 25-year-old boy, and then a group of them would get together and come to America. Can you imagine? So this country is formed by all the ones that had the energy, the initiative, the strength, the brains, the desire to get somewhere to form this new country.
Well, as a strong woman, tell me about your paternal grandmother. What was her maiden name? Did you know them? Did you know those grandparents very well?
I didn't know them awfully well, but Emma Wright Ross. And my grandfather was a charming, wonderful man in this little town of Webster, South Dakota, a small town. He was the jeweler, and he wasn't Jewish. He was a Scottish jeweler. How unusual. And he wrote a column for the newspaper. Of course, it was a small town. And were in the Presbyterian Church, and they were the core of the city, but it wasn't a very big city to begin with. But they were a wonderful, wonderful family.
I hope I'm not being too intrusive about asking about your family, but that is what fascinates me the most about when I get to know someone that I want to know endearing. I understand.
Although I can remember as a kid that when you had the telephone that hung on the little handle there, that the family would all call everybody. It was a very big event when you had long distance. You called everybody. But you're like me. When I meet people, I'm always curious. Why are you like you are? Where do you come from? Yeah, I'm very interested in people. You are too.
Yeah, I knew that. I liked what you said about wanting to know. Those that you didn't know, you wanted to know.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and
very magnanimous, very kind.
And and Henry Winkler said, he said, if somebody didn't say goodbye, they left the room, they just left, and he has to go around and say goodbye to everybody and hello to everybody, and he wants to know everybody. It must be the actor in us, because I'm studying you, I'm looking at you, and I maybe not so keen on being myself. I'd much rather be you.
Yeah.
Never traveled with us the length of the lake, we certainly hope that each and every one of you will come back. But thank you for joining us today. Thanks for having us.